Good morning and welcome. If you'll give me 15 minutes of your time, I would like to share a video with you that we've entitled Coronavirus. Wait just a minute. To deal with some of the issues surrounding this pandemic that is literally plaguing our country today, many are on the verge of panic. And in just a few minutes, I think that I can take you to a place that is much more peaceful. Many have the feeling that our world is going crazy. And in just a little bit of time, I think we can take you to a place that is much more calm and restful from the inside out. So I'm not going to give you alternative facts from alternative sources. Any statistics that we give will come from the World Health Organization, WHO, and from the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control, which are the two primary sources of information we see on the news every day, with all of the media and press conferences and the fantastic interactive map from Johns Hopkins. Those are the main sources where they get their information, and any information or statistics that we would share with you would come from those sources as well and are easily verified with a simple internet search. So I hope you'll give us that 15 minutes. It's a very real issue we're dealing with. But there is pause to say, whoa, wait a minute, on many, many different fronts that I think will cause you, if you get this information in your hands, in your mind, to be in a much better place in your heart and be better equipped to help others around you. 15 minutes. Can't hurt, could it? Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, and we are going to jump right in with coronavirus. Wait just a minute. I'd like you to get a piece of paper and a pen. I want you to write some statistics down. Please don't say, just watch the video again, or what did that video say? I want you to have this information at your fingertips. I'd like you to transfer it to your phone, to your tablet, to something that you have always, because knowledge is power. And when you see a news report or you're talking with someone and they say something or you hear something that makes you go, whoa, that's terrible, I want your next thought to be, wait a minute, and be able to look immediately at the information that I'm going to put in your hands right now. So the beauty of video is I don't have to wait and play Jeopardy music or something while you go get a piece of paper and a pen. You can just pause this and come back so I can actually keep going. So I'm going to assume you have the piece of paper and pen now, and I'd like you to use the paper portrait, not landscape, and we're going to make two columns. So in the left-hand column, I'd like you to write this heading: 2017-2018 influenza virus. Now, don't wad your piece of paper up and throw it away or throw your pencil across the room or something. We're not going to make any direct comparisons to coronavirus with the influenza virus. It would be like comparing apples to oranges, and I understand that. What we need is a standard from which to make some comparisons, and this is actually a very good standard. I chose 2017 and 2018 influenza statistics to get away from 2019 and 20 specifically, because 2019 and 20 is not settled. They're estimates, they're projections, but if you go back to 2017 and 18, those numbers have been settled. They're written sort of in stone, and they're not going to change anymore. Oddly enough, 2017 and 18 is the worst influenza season on record. And I'd like to put that information just as a baseline for us in your hands, in your minds. It's the beginning of, wait just a minute then. So underneath that heading, on the left-hand side, I want to give you four things. First of all, I'd like you to write down worldwide cases of influenza. And the number is 900 50 million plus. If you do a quick internet search, you're going to find that most news reports and things say, well, there's about 1 billion cases. And generally that's true, but if you drill down into the World Health Organization, CDC numbers, I'm more comfortable with saying a little less than that there were 950 million 950, comma, 000, comma, 000. And I'm not insulting you, it helps me to wrap my mind around that huge number, worldwide cases of influenza. Underneath that, write worldwide deaths. From influenza during that season, the number is 300,000 to 600,000. Admittedly, it's hard to get death statistics from some places in the world and cause of death as opposed to contributing factors to death statistics in many places. So it's usually a range. In this influenza season, the range is from 300,000 to 600,000, with most being at the upper end of that range of 600,000, but that's the range. The third statistic that I want to give you are U.S. cases of influenza during that time. U.S. cases, and that number is 45 million. 45, comma, 000, comma, 000. 45 million cases, reported cases of influenza in the 2017-2018 season. And then the last number, I'd like to give other numbers, but I'd like to give hospitalizations and things like that, but the cross-lateral information that I have to give about hospital statistics and stays and those kinds of things are prohibitive. And so we're going to skip all of that and go right to U.S., United States deaths from influenza. And that number is 80,000. Now, the CDC originally reported 61,000, and that was a projection and an estimate and with the data they had, but as all of that information was investigated, the CDC actually came back and updated that number. I heard a news report 2 days ago where someone was citing the 61,000 number from the CDC, and it was true. The CDC did report that, but a little more investigation, you're going to find the CDC upgraded that number to 80,000. So we have, underneath that heading of 2017-18, we have worldwide cases, worldwide deaths, U.S. cases, and U.S. deaths. Now, at the bottom of that, write something like this. And please don't be offended. Let me explain. Write, no one batted an eye. I don't mean that healthcare workers didn't try. I don't mean that hospitals weren't involved and invested in helping people. I don't mean that people who lost loved ones didn't care. What I mean by that is that with those numbers, life went on as normal. There were no travel restrictions. There were no governors with stay-at-home orders locking everyone down in their state. There were no canceling of graduations and concerts and major league sporting things and shutting down of companies and calling out the National Guard. Life went on as normal. Think about that. With those numbers, life went on as normal. No one panicked. No one turned our world upside down with those numbers. That's significant, particularly in light of our right-hand column. The right-hand heading at the top, write coronavirus. Now, you know and I know that those numbers change every day, and they're exponential. I get that. I've been watching those numbers since January, through February, through March, and now we're into April. And by the time you see this video, the numbers that I give you will have changed. But the new numbers, as you see them and look them up, are very easy to plug in. So I'm going to give you the numbers from April the 8th 2020, which is just a few days before Easter, which is around the time that this pandemic is supposed to reach its apex by many things they're saying anyway. So let me give you the comparative numbers of coronavirus cases that we see today from the World Health Organization and the CDC. So in the right-hand column, right next to the number on the left-hand side, let's look at worldwide cases. As of April the 8th, the number of worldwide cases was, write this down, 1,439,516 cases. 1,439,516 cases. Now think about this with me. Worldwide cases of influenza, 950 million plus. 10% of that is 95 million. 1% of that is 9.5 million. Wait just a minute. Are you telling me that we have 1.5 million cases of coronavirus right now, approximately? Yes. If you will do the math, you will find that we have less than 1/2% of the cases of coronavirus that we had with the flu. And the world is locked down. We had less than 1/2%. That's an amazing statistic. Now let's move on to the second statistic, worldwide deaths. You'll remember influenza, 300,000 to 600,000. In the right-hand column, across from that statistic, let me give you the worldwide deaths. As of April the 8th, it was 85,711. 85,711. Flu, 300,000 to 600,000. Coronavirus, 85,000. That's not even 1/6 as many people worldwide have died. I know it goes up, but it would have to be well over 6 times more than what it actually is to get to even close to what the flu was. That number is amazing to me. Now, let's go to the third column. Reported cases in the United States of coronavirus. As of April the 8th, it was 427,460. 427,460. As opposed to 45 million cases of influenza. 45 million cases. 10% of that would be 4.5 million. 1% of that would be 450,000. We're just now getting to 1% of the cases of coronavirus that we had of the flu a couple years ago. 1%. That is an amazing statistic. And the world, or the United States, is on total panic lockdown, let's call out the National Guard mode. I'm not making fun. I'm not saying it's a hoax. What I am saying is that those comparisons are absurdly low in comparison to the influenza, where life went on as normal. The last statistic, United States deaths, as of April the 8th, as we look at those things, it was 14,696. 14,696, as opposed to 80,000 for the flu, when we did nothing. Now, those statistics are amazing, and I want to come back in just a minute and sort of put those things in perspective for you, but I hope that you already go, are you kidding me? Really? Are you kidding me? That's not 14,000 people died as of April 8th, and compared to 80,000, and we did nothing, and life went on as normal, and this is what we're going through now, when not even A fourth of that? That's exactly what I'm saying. Stay with me for a few more minutes, if you would. I'd like to close our time together with 4 basic thoughts. First of all, if you're frightened about, I'm going to get coronavirus, because that's all that you hear coming in, I hope now your next thought can be, wait a minute, only 1% here in America, and way less than 1% around the world, people get coronavirus as opposed to those who get the flu. It's at 1%. I hope that gives you some sense of calm. Secondly, for those who you hear saying, this is the worst pandemic ever, we've never faced anything like this, and it scares you, I hope your next thought can be, wait just a minute, because you know the numbers. You know that's not even close to being true. We haven't even looked at SARS or N1H1 and the swine flu, those kind of things. Millions, 60 million in one case, of people were infected with those things, and life went on as normal. This is not the pandemic to end all pandemics. Statistically, it just can't be. Thirdly, for those who would say, yeah, but it's twice as contagious or 5 times as contagious, and you go, oh no, it's spreading so fast. Your next thought can be, wait a minute, in the flu, 950 million? And this is 1.4 million? That's not even close to being as contagious. They're not even in the same world. And the last thing I would say is that we're inundated with models these days. The first model said 240 to 250,000, 250,000 people were going to die. The next model that I saw was revised down to 150,000. The next model was revised down to 100,000. And as those models go down, people want to say, well, it's because of the social distancing. We just got to stay away from each other and keep everything closed down. I would submit to you that the models themselves have social distancing already built in them. That's not why the number's going down. The model that I heard of yesterday said now they're saying only about 60,000 people are going to die from coronavirus. What that means is 80,000 people died from the flu. It's not even going to kill as many as the flu does. I think that model is going to continue to go down. And that should bring you some sense of peace and comfort as well. You say, well, why is all this happening? Why are they doing this if it's not as bad as they say? That's for another video. And I have thoughts and ideas that I think are spot on. But some may not agree with my ideas. And if I put them in the same video, people who reject my ideas have a tendency to, at the same time, throw out the statistics. I just want you to have the statistics about coronavirus, that you may have a sense of peace, that you may have a sense of calm, that you may share it with your friends and your family. You may point people to the video and say, you should watch this video, that are so panicky about all of these things, because the numbers are incredible. I really mean that. I hope it helps you. I hope you have a great day. Be safe, be careful, be helpful to those around you. We will get through this by the grace of God and come through stronger on the other side. Have a great day.